I'd like to talk about something that is affecting every one of us these days, the whole debate about mask wearing. We get it. Some of you believe that wearing a mask is best for health and liberty, and we respect your God-given as well as constitutional right to make that decision. At the same time, some of us believe that wearing a mask is not best for health and liberty, neither for ourselves or for others. For me personally, in studying and researching the issue, I'm persuaded that wearing a mask doesn't positively contribute to a person's health. And we can argue all day about whether my data is better than your data or your data is better than mine, but the issue really comes down to who has the right to make health decisions for me and health decisions for you. For if you're willing to go along with me being compelled against my conscience about what I believe to be best for health and liberty, then you've compromised a fundamental principle, one of the pillar principles of religious liberty. As a Christian, every decision I make is in light of my relationship with Jesus Christ, and I'm told in the scriptures that my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. For a person persuaded, as I am, about masks, this is an issue of conscience, and you can hear my detailed personal exposition on this issue, referencing Romans 14, by clicking the link in the description of this video. And this is not only a conscience issue about what's best for a person's body, but also about what is best for the liberty of United States citizens. Folks like me believe that COVID-19, as real as it is and as devastating as it is for some, is being used by the tyrant-minded to control the American population. And so, we believe that cooperating with an illegitimate mandate, illegitimate because it is done without constitutional authority, serves to embolden the tyrants, and therefore our conscience directs us to resist lawless overreach by government officials. If you're one of the good people who disagrees with me on the mask question, but you fall into error by not defending my liberty to live by a minority opinion, then what is to stop the tyrants from compelling you against your will on some issue sometime down the road, when you're in the minority position? We already have prominent professors from a well-respected university calling for mandatory vaccines. Are you going to support forced vaccinations? Or will you respect others' rights to make their own health decisions, even if you disagree with them? So, if we've established the need to respect masked and maskless individuals, the question then comes to what I've heard a lot about lately. Namely, if people like me enter a place of business that requires masks, isn't that disrespectful towards the business owner? And even if someone doesn't support mask wearing, shouldn't they do it out of respect for the business owner's right to establish the rules upon which they operate? We would say you're right, at least to some degree, about the business owner's rights, but the fully considered import of this may not be what you think. We'd say you're right on the count that if the business owner tells you they'd rather not have your business unless you violate what you believe to be best for health and liberty, it is most often best to take your business elsewhere. However, many businesses have a sign on their door or window indicating masks are required, but the business owner is doing this against their personal view. They post the sign because of the coercive tone governing officials employ, because of the not so thinly veiled threats directed at them as business owners if they don't post said sign. And I also have personal knowledge that some business owners out there in fact post the sign, but don't agree with it and have no desire to manipulate those whose support keeps them in business. Pretty logical when you think about it. So we would advise you to assume the best about a business establishment and wear a mask or don't wear a mask according to your view on what is best for health and liberty, and assume that the business owner respects your conscience rights to make your own health decisions, regardless of a perfunctory sign near the entrance, and assume that the staff at the entrance offering you a mask is just trying to be nice and fulfilling a perceived perfunctory obligation, and just continue shopping. Don't stop and get in an argument about it, just tend to your shopping. Remember, the business owner probably doesn't care if you do or don't wear a mask. What they do care about is that you spend money at their business establishment. If, and this is not likely to happen, the business owner tells you directly that they don't want your business without a mask, then and only then is there an issue for those concerned about giving disrespect to business owners by not wearing a mask. If a business owner actually tells you they don't want your business without a mask, you can respectfully tell them you'll take your business elsewhere. And for those well-meaning individuals who believe a maskless customer presents an existential threat to the business owner's operations? Remember, the government can't constitutionally require business owners to enforce government mask mandates any more than it can force business owners to police their parking lot for non-handicapped customers parked in handicap spots. This misplaced concern is based upon the incorrect belief that a governor has the legal authority to force business owners to perform police enforcement work on their customers. As it was prior to COVID-19, business owners can, for any reason they deem to be necessary, call law enforcement and ask that they enforce a law. But the business owner is not deputized to perform this policing themselves. We would note as well, on this specific issue, that many sheriff's offices have advised their communities that they won't respond to calls from business owners who complain about maskless shoppers, because these sheriffs don't believe the governor has the constitutional authority to require mask wearing. This is simple, folks. Don't assume that if you get an overzealous frontline staff worker who loves the idea of forcing citizens to wear masks, that they represent the business owner. If you encounter rude staff members on this issue, just like any other issue, ask to speak to the business owner directly. In most cases, the overzealous member of the staff is violating company policy by their behavior. When you walk in the door, be confident and don't act like you're doing something wrong when you're doing something right. Don't assume that business owners are health and liberty tyrants like many of our governing officials who are working overtime to bury our Constitution. If asked about a mask, just say no thank you and keep walking. I seriously doubt that they're going to stick their foot out and trip you or tackle you at the 1-yard line. At least this hasn't happened to me or anyone else that I've heard of, because after all, that would be against the law. There. Now you can live according to your conscience, shop with or without a mask, and realize that you're not a jerk after all, regardless of your mask choice. We have a list of Force the Customer businesses on our website, linked in the description of this video. These are the relatively few businesses we know of that actually try to force masks on customers. You can reference this list as a shopping tool, and we encourage you to let us know if other businesses need added to the list, after giving the business owner a chance to speak for themselves on the issue. If you don't see a business listed, assume they don't try to force their customers to wear a mask. Let's support businesses in our community that respect our right to make our own health choices before we get something worse forced upon us. If you're not already a member of the Pillar Citizen community, join us today at pillarcitizen.com. Until next time, this is Aaron Robertson for The Pillars.